They need some takeaways. Here's a team that in the SEC last year led the SEC in interceptions, haven't gotten any turnovers, or didn't get any turnovers, shall I say, David, in the first ball game.
Yeah, remarkable last week. No turnovers in that Western Kentucky-Florida game. Troy won the toss, selected to receive, and the ball carrier is McKelvin. And McKelvin brings the ball out across the 25 to about the 27-yard line. Leotis McKelvin, an outstanding return man, and the tackle made by Dorian Monroe, a 22-yard return. And here is the senior quarterback out of Belglade. He played his high school football at Central High in Belglade. A lot of great high school talent has come out of that Big Lake region. And here's one of them, Omar Hagebook, a transfer from Dodge City Community College, the Sun Belt Conference Player of the Year as a junior last season. The Trojans line up at the 27-yard line. They spread them out all over the place and really try and stretch your defense. Similar offensive attack to what the Gators will run. A flag is dropped on first down. The pass is caught, and the tackle made by Monroe. A 4 or 5 yard pickup, but we'll check the flag. Austin Silvoy, the receiver, but the play is coming back. An illegal motion call against the Trojans will make them 1st and 15. Starting lineup brought to you by Checkers, the official burger of the Florida Gators. Here's Troy's backs and receivers. Cattouse is the tailback, Banks the top receiver. But Terry also very fast, and Silvoy, good possession guy. On the offensive line, the only returning starter from a year ago was junior Chris Jamison, and a freshman is the center. He's the key guy in that offensive line, making all the play calls. That's Danny Franks out of Bartow, Florida. 29 Floridians dot this Troy roster. Hagebook swings it in the flat, and the Trojans get the penalty yardage back. The pass caught by Gerald Tate, and an 8-yard pickup. Let's check out Florida's defensive alignment. Along the front line, it's Alford, McMillan, Antwine, and sackman Derrick Harvey. The linebackers, all new from last year. Doe and Spikes played very well last week. Jones coming off an injury last season. And a very young secondary on the corners with freshman Hayden and sophomore Pierre Louis. On second down, the Trojans are stacked up as Dustin Doe makes the tackle, the sophomore from Jasper. And that'll bring up a 3rd down and about 6 for Troy.
And David, looked like they had a little mishap there on the handoff. The quarterback's trying to pull it out, and Cattouse said, no way, I'm running with this football. But good adjustment by Dustin Doe, stepping up there, making the tackle for a very short gain.
Troy will run a lot of option offense. This time the quarterback Hagebook keeps, and that speed of the linebacker Doe just too much. And Troy will have to punt the football. So a couple of big stops on this first possession by sophomore linebacker Dustin Doe.
Well, Hagebook will run to his left, but nice job by Doe of just staying his ground, waiting for the quarterback to commit, and then going across the line of scrimmage, making a tackle. You know, when you look at Hagebook, last year he was the 2nd leading rusher for this Troy Trojan football team, and he will run with the football from scrimmage. It won't be a quarterback draw. It's just a straight run with the quarterback carrying the football.
Adrian Vera, the senior, will punt the ball, and Brandon James is the deep man. James did not play last week against Western Kentucky, serving a 1-game suspension. The rush is on, and the Gators gobble it up. And they'll have it at the Troy 6. One thing we have been told, Nat, about Vera, he's a little slow on the trigger, and he was dreadfully slow on that play. And the Gators probably had 3 or 4 defenders who could have blocked that punt.
Well, David, I'm not sure who blocked it, because you're right. You got 4 or 5 people coming right up the middle, and look like it's number 54, Blackett, coming over the top, but an outstanding job. As we wait for the call from the official, we got a flag down, but outstanding call by the coaches of coming after him right away. You know, not allowing the deep. There is no foul. So it's sportsmanlike conduct. First down. But another great call by Urban Meyer and the coaching staff coming after the kicker right away. You know, not allowing him to get into this ball game. Now the rest of the game, David, it'll be in his mind. He got to catch it and get it off here. Here's another look. And there you see unblocked.
Oh, it's Dunlap. I think number 8 may have gotten a piece out of it.
Well, there was enough Gators that there's no telling.
All right, Florida knocking on the door. The handoff to Kestahn Moore. Another flag is dropped. And the sophomore, a junior tailback rather, from Arlington, Texas, is stopped as the tackle made by Sherrod Martin, but there was a flag thrown on the play.
Illegal shift on the offense. Both back moving, not setting for a second. 5 yards, replay first down.
Referee Hubert Owens. There's Tim Tebow, the sophomore from Jacksonville. Terrific last week. 13 out of 17 with 300 yards, 3 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. Tebow with a 300-yard passing game. Chris Leak had 7 of those in his illustrious career. Tebow with a 300-yard passing game in his first start. The Gators are backed up to the 12-yard line on first down and goal. And the handoff to Kestahn Moore again. He picks up 3 yards, and it'll be second and goal. Starting lineups brought to you by Checkers, official burger of the Gators. Backs and receivers, playmakers all over the place. Caldwell, Harvin, Ingram, and the offensive line played very well last week, particularly true freshman Marquise Pouncey getting that starting nod due to the injury to Phil Troutwine. Coaching staff very pleased with Florida's offensive line play in week number 1. Here's Big Jim Tart, the junior out of Sopchapi. And the Gators trying to put the ball in the end zone on their first possession. Tebow will keep and run. Flags are down. Tebow sprinting for the corner of the end zone. He's in there for the touchdown. But there are flags on the play.
And David, the way these came down, it's got to be some type of motion or offside.
Illegal formation on the offense. Only 6 men on the line of scrimmage. 5-yard penalty. Replay second down.
Now Florida's offense has been flagged now twice on this series already.
Last week they were pretty clean except for one drive, and as you said, David, so far they look like mentally they're just not ready to play. And here's another look at it. And it's really hard to tell from that angle who's not up on the football, but a good block by the receiver coming back to help spring Tim into the end zone. But all for naught.
Offensive line coach Steve Adazio looking on. Florida penalized back to the 12 where it's second and goal again. Tebow with all kinds of time. He's got Murphy. Murphy to the 1. That's Lewis Murphy, the junior from St. Petersburg. Little crossing pattern right over the center of the field, and so many playmakers on this Florida offense. Tebow just stands back there and picks his poison for Troy.
And here, look at all this room here. Now watch Tim Tebow. Usually you look for him to run, but he shows his patience. He allows his receiver to come across field, and then he gets the ball in the hands of Lewis Murphy. Murphy takes it down inside the 2-yard line.
Ball at the 1. Moore leaping into the end zone. Out of that power I formation, Kestahn Moore taking it in. His 3rd touchdown carry of the young season. He picked up a couple last week. His 6th touchdown run as a Gator.
And David, what does it say about this offensive line? This is the 6th time that they've been down inside the red zone, and each and every time they've come away with touchdowns. They are perfect inside the red zone.
And Joey Ehas with the extra point try. It is good, so Florida blocks a punt. And despite a couple of penalties, still able to put the ball in the end zone with Kestahn Moore running it in off left tackle. Florida, which stunned Western Kentucky last week, jumping out against Troy.
Offensive line, look at the movement that they get, and then when Kestahn Moore takes off, he takes off from around the 2-yard line, so it's easy to go up and over when you've got a hat on every defender the way the Gator offensive line did that times.
This Troy team is they're no stranger to these big venues. They've played a lot of big clubs over the last 5 or 6 years. And the return by McKelvin out to the 25-yard line, and Brian Thomas makes the tackle. Last year was pretty much a 50-50 run-pass team, but heavily slanted toward the pass last week against Arkansas. Hagabook looks left and throws it back to the right side to Michael Terry. Terry, the junior from Fullerton, California, brings it out to the 34-yard line.
David and Nat, on that play, you could see where the Gators open again in a nickel package. Number 20, Dorian Monroe, the nickel back. They really like the way he plays. The sophomore from Miami does a great job of understanding when to press and when to go back on coverage. Very active, very quick, a good cover guy.
Monroe will get a lot of playing time today because this Troy team is going to line up with 4 and 5 wideouts. This time the only running back, Kenny Kestahn, the senior from Keyport, New Jersey. And Kestahn able to pick up the first down across the 35 and to the 37-yard line.
And David, when they spread them out, pretty much what they're looking to do is get a long handoff. It's almost like a running play with this little bubble screen that they keep running.
And this time the receiver had his back turned. He says, "What's the deal?" Gary Banks, the senior from Melvin, Alabama. This guy's 25 years old. He'll be 26 in November. Played 4 years of minor league baseball in the Cubs organization, so he's been around the block a few times. He says, "Omar, give me a chance there. Let me turn around and see it."
Well, and I think it was just miscommunication because it looked like he was actually trying to block instead of running with the foot. Trying to catch the football.
This is Kestahn again, and the senior, all-time leading rusher in the state of New Jersey, getting about 7 yards. Tony Joyner made the tackle for the Gator defense.
They've got a redshirt freshman out of Bateau, Florida, that's in the middle there. Number 75, Danny Franks, gets the seal block, and this brings Kestahn into the Gator secondary.
Now, Troy does not want to punt the ball again after their first one was blocked, and they are able to grind out the first down to the 47 or 48-yard line. Doe again on the tackle as DeJuan Harris gets the first down yardage for Troy.
And what Troy is doing, David, is they're taking big splits, and this is allowing the cutback as Kestahn starts right. He sees a big gap, and he just turns it up, picks up the first down.
Florida played a lot of zone defense last week, and we'll see a lot of zone this week. This young defensive football team. They bring the pressure, and the pass is caught by Terry. Or rather, that's Silvoy, Austin Silvoy on the receiving end. High school teammate of Tim Tebow at Nice High. And a very impressive redshirt freshman.
And Silvoy is really a young man that a lot of Florida people know very well. But here's another look at it. Gators come with pressure. Look at the big splits. And nice job by Hugabook of getting rid of the football as you get an isolation where you've got a defensive end trying to cover a receiver. You know, you got Jermaine Cunningham trying to cover Silvoy. That's a mismatch, David.
Yeah, and the key on that play, the successful one a moment ago, was Hugabook able to get rid of the ball so quickly with that pressure coming. That time, again, he threw it behind Banks. It'll be 2nd down and 10.
Here's another look at it. He just catches it, gets rid of it, and you know, Cunningham versus a speedy receiver. You like that matchup if you're Troy.
Troy gets to the line of scrimmage and looks over at offensive coordinator Tony Franklin for the play call. Hugabook over the middle. The pass is caught by number 1, Cornelius Williams. It's short of the first down by 5 or 6 yards to the Florida 31-yard line. That's Williams, a sophomore from Hoover, Alabama, out of that great high school football program in the Birmingham area. And Troy is 3rd down and 5. Marquis Anderson, number 14, checks in for the Gators in the secondary. Unable to play last week due to a sore knee. Big 3rd down play for Troy. Hugabook keeping, splitting the defenders to the 10. Hugabook, touchdown, Troy. So the Trojans on a 32-yard run by Omar Hugabook can tie the score with the extra point. Pensacola's Greg Wibbs with the extra point attempt. It is good. And the Trojans tie the score at 7. An impressive 32-yard run by the senior, the junior college transfer, high school standout at Belgrade Central, Omar Hugabook. We're tied at 7.
Yeah, and David, watch what happens here. The offensive line all step down. Now watch this guy here. This is Kestahn. He's going to get the key block. He's going to seal on Brandon Spikes, and that allows Hugabook to get outside, and then a missed tackle by the cornerback, Marquise Anderson. and he's into the end zone. Just a well-drawn up play, perfectly executed by the Trojans.
Their spread offensive attack giving the Gators all kinds of problems on that series after Florida blocked the punt to open the game. On Troy's first possession, scored an easy touchdown. And then the Trojans march at 74 yards on their second series. Brandon James is deep. And the ball went out of bounds at the 1-yard line. That's Greg Wibbs, the senior from Pensacola out of Catholic High School. And he hits it very nicely, and James fielding it at the 4-yard line. He's across the 30 to the 35-40. James looking for a block. He got one, but is caught from behind at the Troy 37-yard line. That's why you make Troy kick it over. Pendergrass made the tackle, but an electrifying return by sophomore Brandon James.
And just tremendous blocking by the special teams. Kestahn Moore leading through. And nice job by James of setting up the block. And then right there he slows down, and Pendergrass gets him from behind. You know, only bad thing is you can't see what's coming up from behind you as you're waiting on those blocks to get executed. But a nice run and a great decision by Coach.
Yeah, absolutely. And a great block by Cade Holloway, number 22, to give James another 10 or 15 yards. Florida has great field position. That is Percy Harvin in motion. And Tebow on the option. He's got all kinds of daylight and steps out of bounds inside the Troy 25 at the 23-yard line. Driven out of bounds by Gainesville native Tavares Williams, number 15.
And nice job by Tim Tebow. Great decision making on this, because he really would like to pitch this ball to Percy Harvin, but all of a sudden you don't have the right spacing, so he takes it up, steps out of bounds, doesn't take the big hit. Last week we were talking about him not taking those hits, wisely getting out of bounds.
We had so much open space to run the ball. Now it's first down at the 23-yard line of Troy. The left-hander firing. The pass is complete to Lewis Oliver. He shook one defender, but not the second. And a 6-yard pickup for the Gators. The tackle made by strong safety Terrence Moore out of Columbus, Georgia. There's Lewis Murphy, had 3 catches last week. His big breakout game last year was against LSU. A couple of big catches in that victory against the Tigers here in Gainesville. That's Moore, or Murphy rather, split wide to the right. And the handoff to Andre Caldwell on the end around. And the exciting Caldwell is tackled at the 11-yard line. He picks up 7 more yards. The nose man, Marcus Pittman, came a long way to make that tackle, number 93. But Caldwell with that great speed trying to put that ball into the end zone.
And just a great job of not giving up on the play, allowing his blockers to get that block and then turning it upfield. Good job by Lewis Murphy getting out there, getting the block as well, sealing the cornerback. Nice run, good execution by the O-line.
Eric Rutledge shifting in motion. And Tebow on the keep on a great play fake to the middle. And the sophomore inside the 5 at the 4. Pittman again makes the tackle for Troy. Tim Tebow did not run the ball last week except in a broken play situation. Already has carried it a couple of times on the option here today.
Well, he sees everything stacked inside, and when you're running an option, you make a choice whether to give it to the tailback or pull it out. And when he's pulling it out, he's seeing a big hole. Nice job of sidestepping the first would-be tackler to pick up additional yards.
Florida needs 4 yards for the touchdown, 3 yards for the first down on second inside the Troy 5. Moore may have gotten a yard, and that's it. Marcus Richardson out of Pensacola, number 26, made the tackle. University of Florida hosting the 2007 NCAA Volleyball Regionals. That's coming up on December 7th and 8th. Tickets are on sale now, however, so don't miss your chance to see who will advance to the Final Four. Harry Wise' team off to a good start. SEC competition heating up pretty soon now in college volleyball world. Florida Inside the 5 at the 3.5. Tebow picking his way and into the end zone. Boy, he had some terrific blocking up ahead. Number 56, that true freshman Marquise Pouncey, just destroyed his man.
Pouncey is already playing like a veteran, and David, don't forget that Pouncey played in 3 state championships and won all 3 of them when he was at Lakeland. So the big fella knows what it is to play major college, or should I say major time, in big games.
Yeah. Boy, I really rated that state championship team from Lakeland. He has the point is good, and Florida leads 14-7. Their offense moving at will after a terrific kick return by Brandon James. Gators using the short field to their advantage again. Now let's see if Florida's defense has some answers for this Troy offense led by Omar Hagebook. 6 plays, 37 yards, just over 3 minutes on the clock, set up by that James 59-yard kickoff return. Haas kicking it deep. And it comes up short this time and is fielded by McKelvin. Leotis McKelvin grabbed around the collar and driven down at the 37-yard line. Ahmad Black makes the tackle for Florida's special team after a 15-yard return.
Well, whenever you've got a quarterback that runs with the football, there is one guy that's unaccounted for, and normally it's the guy that would be covering the quarterback. That time, good block by Pouncey, but even more so, there was no way that everybody would not get a hat on their man, and the one guy that's responsible for the quarterback can't get there, David, not within a 3-yard space.
Not and stop Tim Tebow. 10 touchdown runs now for Tebow. He had 8 last year as a freshman. Hagebook has a pass batted down by Derrick Harvey. Well, the Gators' big sack man, he had a couple of sacks last week. Didn't get to the quarterback, but he did the next best thing, and that's get a big hand up.
A nice job of reading the little bubble screen. He realized he's not going to get there. He gets wide, gets his hands up, reads the throw of the quarterback, swats it down. That's what a defensive end has to do against this offense, is try and bat down some of those bubble screen passes.
On the option, Catus, or rather, that's one of the wide receivers carrying the ball out of bounds at the 45-yard line. Gerald Jernigan on the handoff. Give him about 7 yards. It'll be 3rd down coming up for Troy, sitting at their own 46-yard line. So Troy able to march the ball 74 yards on their first possession. And the Trojans need about 2.5 yards. They will not get it. Catus is hit by number 47, Brandon Antwine, a sophomore from Garland, Texas, stuffing up the middle.
Both Brandon Antwine and Ryan Stamper right in there on the play. Nice job by Ryan Stamper beating the block of the center, getting in on the play. Another good look at all of the action going on down inside the pit.
And for the second time, Troy will punt the football. The first one didn't work out so well for the Trojans. The Gators blocked it easily.
And this is where the Gators need to be alert. It's 4th and 2. You know, don't be surprised if they fake it. And I think
they're 46. They're confused. They're going to take timeout.
And I think Urban Meyer's thinking the same way as he takes a timeout. He calls the defense over there to make sure that the special teams return team over to make sure that they don't get surprised.
Yeah, that's a Florida timeout. Their first taken. Florida leads 14-7. They forced Troy to punt for the second time today. We'll be back. Welcome back to Gainesville. It's 4th down and 2.5. Troy at their own 46-yard line. Adrian Vera standing back to punt the ball. He had one blocked early in the first period. And again, Troy really doing a lot of shifting around. Not much of a rush that time, and a low line drive returnable for James. Brandon James already with a big kick return. He's looking for the corner. And now cutting it back to the inside. Man, he's got terrific feet. And very difficult to bring down in the open field. Cortland Fuller finally does for the Troy Trojans, but not before James brings it all the way out to the 45-yard line.
And watch this little stop and go. He sets him up, and then he turns on the afterburner. He's like a little jitterbug, just sort of working his way along. Very hard to get him on the ground. Two great returns, one by a punt and one via kickoff. You know, a tremendous weapon for the Gators as Brandon James returns it 30 yards. Back up to the Gator 45-yard line.
Once again, Florida with terrific field position, this time at their own 45. Kestahn Moore, great blocking. They seal off the right side, and Moore for about 12. Number 2, the linebacker, Boris Lee, made the tackle. And 11 stops last week in Fayetteville, Arkansas. Honorable mention, Sun Belt Conference as a freshman a year ago.
Yeah, but whenever you've got your middle linebacker making tackles downfield 12 yards deep, that means some great blocking is going on at the line of scrimmage. Good tough running by Kestahn Moore, but another outstanding job of the offensive line controlling the line of scrimmage.
Really controlling it up front in this first period. Tebow gets rid of it in a hurry. And a nice job by Murphy to elude a tackler in the backfield, and Lewis Murphy showing some terrific acceleration. He'll get 17 yards before linebacker David McDowell, number 50, is able to make the stop.
David, this is all Lewis Murphy because this play is blown up, and he just does a nice job of making the defender miss. Defender's right there. He just fakes him out of his shoes and then run through arm tackle to pick up another Gator first down. Just outstanding move by Murphy. And then from there on, he's like, hey, guys, just get out the way. I got it from here. Nice job by Murphy. Second big catch of the ball game for Lewis Murphy.
Tebow, little duck in, now fires. Wide open is Caldwell. He can't believe it. Somehow let that one get away.
Two things happened to Andre Caldwell on that play. First, he tried to catch the ball in his belly. You know, you got to catch that ball in your hands. And then secondly, he tries to run. You know, he doesn't keep his head down. Now watch his head on the football. Head comes right up because he's ready to run right now. You know, he'll look at the film. He'll get that corrected. I guarantee you won't see that happen very often this year.
Very rare miscue by the fifth-year senior from Tampa. He's had such a terrific preseason. Great game last week. Flags are dropped as the ball is snapped.
I think they're going to get big Jason Watkins, you know, 304 pounds, 6'6", caught him leaning. And quarterback holds that snap count.
False start. Number 77 on the offense. 5 yards. Replay second down.
Nowhere
David,
for the big fella to hide.
When you're that big, if the quarterback holds the snap count and you try and get an early start, it's kind of hard to stop that momentum at 6'6", 304.
That's Florida's third penalty of the game. And it makes it second down and 15 from the Troy 30. Tebow, Cornelius Ingram. Only had one catch last week, but here's a guy that is just ready to explode for the Gators. You talk about a talented young football player. He's a junior from Hawthorne, a converted quarterback, played on the basketball team back in 2004. Tremendous athlete. His first catch of the game.
And David, here's what happens. Look at where the nearest defender is. When you've got speed, that clears everything out of the way. You drag a guy like Cornelius Ingram across. He catches the ball, has a full head of steam, turns upfield, first down. But you got to respect the speed of those Gator receivers.
Yeah. Brandon James in the backfield. He breaks a tackle. James to the 10, James to the 5-yard line. Well, the sophomore getting the backup snaps at tailback behind Kestahn Moore, picking up 7 yards. Gator fans immediately following tonight's game turn to Sun Sports for extensive post-game coverage, including player interviews, Coach Meyer's press conference, and some in-depth analysis. That's the Geico Gator postgame tonight following the game, only on Sun Sports. Florida's offense very impressive again. They are first and goal at the Troy 5-yard line. Touchdown, Florida. Tim Tebow to Percy Harvin. I have a feeling we make that call a time or two more before those two young men are finished with their playing days at the University of Florida.
And David, great catch by Percy Harvin, because this ball is thrown low and away. You know, one of those times that Tim Tebow decided he was going to fit it in and force it. But a nice job of rewarding your quarterback by Percy getting down, making that grab.
And another extra point for Ehas. He was 7 for 7 last week, and already 3 for 3 today in the first quarter against Troy.
Now look, as we go back and take a look, a good shot of Tim Tebow, presence in the pocket. The ball's thrown down, low and away. Nice job by Percy getting down. Look how low this ball is. He goes down, cuddles it, and rolls with it. Nice job by the young fella, sophomore receiver out of Virginia Beach, Virginia.
Southeastern Conference Freshman of the Year a season ago. You know, you look at this Florida team, I think it's got more playmakers than any team in Florida football history. You're talking about just pure playmakers. You'll think back at the 96 team. You had Ike Hilliard, Riddell Anthony, with Jaquez Green, Fred Taylor, a running back. Back in 1984, there was 3 great running backs: Neil Anderson, John L. Williams, Lorenzo Hampton. And you had Ricky Nattiel and Frankie Neal. Those were 2 great offensive teams, but this Florida team has, I think, an unprecedented amount of playmakers on the offensive side.
But it's the type of offense that you run that allows all those guys to have some success, and that's why so many guys are willing to sign and come to the University of Florida. They know they're going to get some playing time because of the type of offense that the Gators run. So they're going to play 9-10 receivers every ball game.
Troy trying to get its offense going. Hagabook dumps it to Cattouse, and he heard some steps. Couldn't hold on to the football. Kenny Cattouse, leading rusher all time in New Jersey high school history. That's more than Franco Harris, more than Lydell Mitchell in high school. So that's some pretty good players that he put in the shade, Nat.
As in high school, though. Let's clarify that when we start talking Franco and Lydell.
Yeah, they were awfully good at the next 2 levels, weren't they?
As well as high school.
2nd and 10 for Troy. And the ball handed off inside again. It looked like Hagabook would have liked to have kept that football, but Cattouse wrestled it away from him.
Yeah, I think there seems to be some miscommunication as to whether Cattouse is actually supposed to keep the football, because right there it looked like he's trying to pull it out, and then he finally just lets him have it since he's taken away from him and push him forward. McMillan in on the stop for a very short game.
This is a big 3rd down play for Troy. They do not want to punt the ball to Florida again right now. Things have not gone well when they punted the ball today. A little cutback run, and they will not pick up the 1st down. The speedy Brandon Spikes, the sophomore from Shelby, North Carolina, on the tackle, and Troy will punt the ball for the 3rd time today.
Doe and Jones. That is what the Gator defensive staff wants. Spikes, Doe, and Jones to set the tone for this defense. They think their linebackers, when they go 100% and those guys can run, they can set the tone for this defense. Everybody else will feed off those linebackers.
Well, Steve, Nat, those are some big shoes those linebackers are trying to fill. Earl Everett, Brandon Seiler, Brian Crum. It'll take them a while to get to that level. Right now, let's see if Troy can handle this punt situation. They've had 1 blocked and 1 big return by Brandon James. Here come the Gators, and it is blocked. Someone got a hand on it, and it's going to be a very short punt out of bounds at the 48-yard line. Go ahead, Nat.
And David, what I can't understand, knowing you have a kicker that's extremely deliberate and slow, why would you take the split stage they do, and then have the ball, have them come right up the middle? You want the blockers to come from the farthest point, from out here. Look where they're coming from. Everybody's coming from up in there, and there's just no way. I don't understand the technique that they're using to try and protect this punter.
Well, they're just getting pushed back into the kicker.
Yeah, but they're taking wide splits, and they're splitting out, and the principle on that is to force the outside guy who has to come the farthest to be the guy to try and block the kick.
Just a nightmare so far for Vera. Their kicking game struggled last week against Arkansas. Tebow rifles it over the middle. Cornelius Ingram breaking a tackle and out of bounds at the 10-yard line of Troy. I am telling you, this is a big-time playmaker for the Gators. And we talk about Harvin and Caldwell and Lewis Murphy, but Cornelius Ingram is a terrific football player.
But watch the throw by Tim Tebow. He hits him in stride, right there, puts it on the money where he's able to catch it and turn upfield. When you can give a receiver the ball where he can catch it and keep moving, he's going to make big plays for you. It's when he has to turn around, wait on the football. Perfectly thrown football by Tim Tebow that time.
Tebow is 6 of 7 for 93 yards and 1 touchdown. First down at the 10. Kestahn Moore to the 2. Make it the 1-yard line, a 9-yard carry. Tavares Williams out of Gainesville's Eastside High School made the tackle. Big Miami Hurricane fan growing up, not a Gator fan, big Hurricane fan, but not recruited by either Miami or Florida. And he would like to really put on a show today in the Swamp in his hometown. But so far, it's gone the other way. It's all Gators after 1 quarter. Kestahn Moore. Tim Tebow, the quarterback. And the handoff to Moore, and he is in for the touchdown. Touchdown number 2 for Kestahn Moore, and Florida is making it look easy. They beat 19th-ranked Missouri that season. Last year they took Florida State right down to the end before falling by a touchdown, and also played Georgia Tech very strong last year. But so far it is all Florida. The Gators now with a 21-point advantage.
Look at Marquise Pouncey. You know, we talk a lot about the young man. Got great feet. He's able to pull from the right guard position, come around, gets a block, and lead Kestahn Moore into the end zone. For a true freshman, I tell you what, this guy looked like he's been doing it his whole life, David.
I'm visiting right now with former Gator Earl Everett, member of the national championship team. And Earl, obviously after that game, a lot of good things have happened. Most people, though, recognize Earl Everett now as the guy who made the tackle without the helmet. Do you hear that a lot?
Oh, yeah, I hear it a lot. I was actually in Gable Fever early today off Archer by Walmart, and a bunch of people recognized who I was, and they was like, aren't you the guy that lost your helmet? So I'm like, yeah. So I signed a bunch of autographs while I was in there, but, you know, it's all good and fun.
The national championship, how's that affected your life as far as going out there and people saying, oh, you were with the Gators, national champion?
Oh, it affected my life, you know, it's huge. I mean, you know, everywhere you go, everybody notice you as a national champion. And, I mean, there's no better way to leave out your senior year winning a national championship.
Now Spike, Stowe, and Jones trying to replace you three that were there last year. Tall, big shoes to fill, but those guys got talent.
Oh, yeah, they got a lot of talent, and they work hard. So, I mean, I'm looking forward to those 3 guys to be, you know, the top linebacker, one of the top linebacker core, you know, in the SEC this year, and hope the top, you know, in the coming years.
All right, thanks very much, Earl. Let's watch those guys go to work.
All right, thank you.
Buckle it up.
Yep. All right, Troy from their 27. Hagabook throwing, and the pass is caught for a gain of about 6 yards. That's Josh Allen, who had 1 catch last week. Had a big game against Florida State last year, and that narrow defeat in Tallahassee. Had 7 catches against the Seminoles a year ago, the senior from Tifton, Georgia. Florida with 160 total yards already. There's a drop by Gerald Tate, the senior from Venice, Florida. You've got 29 Floridians on this Troy team. Only one school in college football has more players from Florida outside the state of Florida than Troy, and that is Army. That surprised me when I saw that a little bit, man.
Very surprising, but you know, there's such a bevy of talent here in the state of Florida that most colleges actually come in and try and recruit here, and Troy has done it better than most.
Yeah, they have. This young man out of Belglade, the quarterback, Hagabook, got away from one would-be tackler, and that enables Omar Hagabook to pick up a first down with a 7-yard carry. And the tackle made by Brandon Antwine. A.J. Jones also in on the stop, the redshirt freshman from Tampa.
And what you'll see is Hagabook at 6 feet, 218 pounds. You get down around his legs, you're not going to get him on the ground. You know, you've got to get up around his chest because he's got great feet as a quarterback when it comes to running with the football.
Very talented senior. He's going to keep sweep to the right side and tripped up from behind. What a terrific stop by the Gators' Ryan Stamper, the redshirt sophomore linebacker out of Jacksonville.
But David, if Stamper doesn't make this play, Hoggabook is outside. When you make this decision as a linebacker and you decide to shoot the gap, you've got to make that play. They've got Derrick Harvey pinned in, and if he misses that tackle, he's out around the corner and is going to pick up big yardage. Super play by Ryan Stamper, but when you make that decision, you better make the play.
Greg Madison, Charlie Strong rotating some linebackers in and out of the game in the first half. Lawrence Marsh is in the game now, a tackle for the Gators on the option. The pitch is to Jernigan, and Jernigan is out of bounds at the 42-yard line. Freshman from Eufaula, Alabama. And another nice play by A.J. Jones. There is a flag down over on that far sideline.
I think they're going to get A.J. Jones for tackling the ball carrier after he is already out of bounds.
After the play was over. Personal foul. Late hit out of bounds. Number 41 on the defense. 15 yards to the end of the run. It'll be first down.
Well, it was 41 Stamper called for the personal foul.
Let's go back and look because it looked more like AJ here. And or was it Jeremy Finch?
No, that was Stamper that came in with the shove, the two-armed shove. They called 41 for the personal foul. So that's a 15-yard penalty. And Troy is in Florida territory at the 44-yard line. Hoggabook's throw sailed a little bit on him, and it's incomplete, intended for Andrew Davis, a sophomore out of Pelham, Alabama. Hoggabook last year completed 61% of his passes, but only 35% last week, and that one was just overthrown.
Well, you know, last week he struggled quite a bit. I think he was, 15 for 43?
Yeah.
But as you say, you know that he is better than that because of last year's success with the 21 touchdowns and completing 61% of his passes.
And the player of the year in their conference, the Sun Belt. Player of the game, most valuable in the New Orleans Bowl. This time, Hoggabook throws a strike to number 45. That's Travis Boyd, a sophomore from Lacey Springs, Alabama.
One of the things the Gators would like to do is get more pressure up the middle from their tackles. You know, that time they come with a four-man rush. They sit back in a zone. Hoggabook sits back there, got plenty of time to get the ball to his receiver. No pressure. He's going to get the ball to the open receiver. He's a very accurate quarterback.
Well, we said, Nat, that Florida's secondary, their defense was really going to be tested today. That was one of our storylines, and that has certainly been the case when Hoggabook has had a chance. He gets pressure this time, almost picked off with that pressure. Dorian Monroe had a chance to get his first career interception.
That time, Dorian will tell you that this is something that he should have been turning around trying to take it to the house because this ball hits him right in the midsection, but it shows you what happened when you bring pressure on a quarterback. Yeah. He's trying to get rid of the football, throws the ball slightly behind the receiver, and you have a chance to make a defensive play. Gators not able to make it.
Now the Trojans will be going for it on 4th down and 4. At the Florida 37. And they'll leave it in the hands of Hoggabook, and I think the Gators had a feeling that might be the case. The ball's fumbled, and it is picked up by a Gator, Dustin Doe, and Florida is going to have it in the Troy territory. There is a flag thrown at the end of the play. Hoggabook trying to fight for yardage, and he got hit from 2 or 3 different angles.
Great job by that Gator defense of keeping him contained. He started out, he wanted to go left, he turned back to the right. Everybody stayed in their lanes, and there was just nowhere for Omar to run with the football. And fortunately enough, they were able to come back and make the tackle.
After the play was over, personal foul, unnecessary roughness on the defense. Number 21 will penalize 15 yards from the end of the play. It'll be first down.
That's a freshman Major Wright, number 21, called for a personal foul on the end of the play.
Let's go back and see exactly what happens here. But as you see, Hogglebook wants to go left. He turns back right. Nice job by McMillan coming in, scripting the ball out. Dustin Doe finally picks it up and takes off with it. But I didn't see the penalty there, David.
Maybe we'll get another look. In any event, it'll be Florida's football leading 28-7. The Gators have blocked a punt. They've had a big kick return, a big punt return by Brandon James. Actually, they blocked 2 punts today, and now they've recovered a Troy fumble. Andre Caldwell carries the ball out of bounds. He's bumped out of bounds by McKelvin, the cornerback out of Waycross, Georgia. Tebow takes the snap and options left. Caldwell comes back to the opposite side, and he's going to get dropped for a loss of yardage by number 50, David McDowell. Let's go to Steve.
Just honor was Derrick Torres, former Gator All-American, 4-time Olympic gold medal winner, and a proud member of the University of Florida alumni. And Derrick, congratulations. You're getting ready for another Olympics, I think.
I know I am. Can you believe it? I'm 40 years old and doing this again, but I guess I must miss and love the sport to be back doing it again.
Most recently, you competed, won another championship. Tell us what you did and how well you swam.
I swam at the U.S. Nationals, and I won the 50 and the 100 and broke my American record in the 50.
Hold on 1 second. We'll go upstairs and let David call this play.
Boy, she looks terrific, doesn't she?
Oh, yes.
Great swimmer. Been a lot of them come through Gainesville. Murphy on the receiving end again. Boy, he has been Tebow's favorite target so far today. His 4th catch of the game. Lewis Murphy with the catch.
Well, Lewis Murphy gets the catch. Tim Tebow gets the completed pass. But look at the job the offensive line does. I mean, he's got a clean pocket where he's able to step up. There's nobody around him. You know, they've held their blocks for 4 seconds, maybe 5 seconds on that particular play. Offensive line play is the key to good offensive football.
Ball is at the Troy 43-yard line. 1st down and 10 for the Gators. Already leading by 28-7. Kestahn Moore breaking tackles. Well, that is something that Gator coaching staff has been looking for, a back to step up, and Moore has done that in a game and a half here this year. Steve Moore with Dara.
Thanks, David. Obviously, the Gator football team a national champion, Gator basketball national champion. Florida swimming, they've won a few national championships. Right now, Florida swimming in good hands with Greg Troy. You keep up with it?
Yeah, I do keep up with it. He's a great coach, and I haven't been here for a few years, so it's been a little bit of a bummer it's my daughter, not being able to watch a lot of the meets, but I've been keeping up with it, you know, in the press and stuff, and he's really doing an awesome job with the kids.
Thanks, Dara.
Thank you.
Thanks, Steve, and good luck to Dara Torres in her quest for the Olympics at age 40. Remarkable. Tebow out of bounds, untouched this time. He got hit harder out of bounds last week than he did inbounds against Western Kentucky on a couple of plays.
Well, David, I'm just still marveling at what a great job this offensive line is doing of keeping him clean. And then he has the footwork and the skill that once it breaks down, he can do things on his own with his scrambling ability. That time he picks up 8 yards, gets out of bounds, doesn't take a hit. Good heads-up play by the quarterback.
Well, you know, when you lost Phil Troutwine, you wondered if this offensive line could survive probably their best lineman going down. We don't know when Troutwine or if he'll be back this year. But the play of Marquise Pouncey has just made that line rock solid again.
And I think you got to give the offensive line coaches a lot of credit for the stuff that they've been able to do.
This is Caldwell. Touchdown, Florida. On the direct snap to Andre Caldwell. This one goes a little better than the last one they ran to Bubba. Joey Ehas has yet to get a chance to kick a field goal this year, but he is dead center on another extra point. 7 for 7 last week for the first-year starter, but a senior for this Florida football program. And it is Andre Bubba Caldwell taking it in from 19 yards out to give the Florida Gators a commanding 35-7 lead. That was a 6-play drive, 55 yards, and on the direct snap to Andre Caldwell, Florida scoring again.
And a great block thrown by Eric Rutledge from the fullback slot to spring Caldwell free in the secondary for the touchdown.
Caldwell, as you mentioned, Nat, a terrific quarterback in high school at Jefferson High in Tampa. And now Andre Caldwell making his presence felt in his 5th year as a Florida Gator.
And what's really impressive, David, is the fact that the Gators have scored all 5 times they touched the football here this afternoon. And last week they scored the first 4 times they touched the football.
It is impressive, and field position has gone their way. The special teams play has swung heavily in favor of the Gators. Gators have blocked 2 punts today, and Brandon James has been a factor in returning kicks and punts. Tackle made by the Gators' Jermaine Cunningham. Florida's defense a little shaky in the early going here in the first period. Troy had that 74-yard drive. Remember last week they gave up a lot of yards early against Western Kentucky, but Nat, it seems again as if this unit is settling down.
Well, they do a great job of adjusting after they've been on the field and seen the offensive sets and etc. They do a nice job of adjusting. What a great throw and catch that time by number 8.
Gary Banks.
Banks, yeah, he's their #1 receiver. Caught 68 balls last year for 8 touchdowns, and on that particular play, you can see why he's the favorite target of Hoggabook. Nice throw, reaches out, catches it in his hands.
Again, he'll be 26 years old in November. He's got a catch now, at least 1 catch in 21 consecutive games for Troy. 3rd down and less than a yard for the Trojans. Option, and the ball tossed and fumbled at the 30-yard line and recovered by the Trojans.
And coaches will always tell you, David, when the ball's on the ground, get on the football. This time the ball comes loose, and I think it was Jones. A.J. Jones tries to pick this ball up and run. See, ball's on the ground. Now, right here, all he's got to do is get on the football. No, excuse me.
Cunningham.
That was actually Cunningham, number 49? Yeah. I mean, if you just get on the football, you've got the ball there, 1st and 10, offense going in.
Punting has been an adventure for Troy. Here's Vera back for another chance. He's had 2 blocked.
And look at the width of those splits. I mean, that's the tough part for these guys, is the splits are so wide.
No return on this one, however. James lets it roll down at the 25-yard line. So that's a 44-yard punt without a return. Florida's offense has been in high gear all day long. Kestahn Moore got it on the board 7-0. Tim Tebow a 3-yard touchdown run about 3 and 4 minutes later. And then Tebow drills it into the end zone to Percy Harvin for the touchdown score. Moore getting his 2nd touchdown carry early in the 2nd period. And then Bubba Caldwell from 18 yards out makes it a 35-7 Florida Gator lead.
And 4 rushing touchdowns, and all of them started over what? That left side of the Gator offensive line.
Harvin is chased down at the 30-yard line. Percy Harvin, boy, if he gets the corner, look out. You're not going to catch him. That was a good tackle by McKelvin.
Tim Tebow's numbers there, 7 for 8. Just almost perfect throwing the football.
Last week he was 13 for 17, 76% completions, no interceptions, 3 touchdowns. Tebow has run for a touchdown today and thrown for another. The sophomore looking. He's going to tuck it and run. And Tebow will pick up a 1st down out of bounds at the 39-yard line.
And a great block by Lewis Murphy coming back to help out his quarterback. Once he saw the quarterback start to scramble with the football, David, he turned into a blocker instead of a receiver. You know, a lot of times you turn and you give a quarterback a pocket, but once he broke the line of scrimmage, came back, got the big cleanup block to spring Tebow for the 1st down.
Well, you can't say enough about the job that Billy Gonzalez, the receivers coach, and this staff, what they've done with this receiving core, not just as receivers, but as blockers downfield, Nat. We see it week after week.
Well, I think you have to say that about the entire coaching staff. They are great teachers, and they do such a superb job of teaching these young men and correcting their mistakes so that they don't make the same mistake time after time again.
You don't block, you don't play under Billy Gonzalez. There's no doubt about it. In practice, that is a mantra. Those guys go after it. If he sees anybody taking a play off, even when the ball's not on their side, if they're not doing something to help the team, they won't see the field. That is a big, big part of what these wide receivers do.
Good look at Billy Gonzalez there in the center of your screen. Wide receiver coach for the Gators.
Billy and this Florida staff feeling very, very good about this offensive side of the football early in the season. And, of course, with all the playmakers and a terrific quarterback in Tim Tebow, why not? 2nd down and 10. Tebow throwing it over the middle, and it's Murphy again. Lewis is down at the 42-yard line, an 18-yard play. The Gators, Nat, seem to be getting 10, 20 yards or more on virtually every play they're running.
Yeah, but it's the run after the catch. Yeah. And this is where we're seeing the speed of Florida receivers. It's just a little crossing route. He's going to try and hit him right in here. Now watch him just run off, outruns both defenders. You know, this is an easy pitch and catch for Tim Tebow and Louis Murphy on a drag route across, and then good blocking downfield by his fellow receivers.
Florida is averaging almost 9 yards per play. They're at the Troy 42. Brandon James. Driven down by number 24, Josh Maxwell, a senior linebacker, 5th-year man out of St. Mary's, Georgia, down in the southeast coast. And a gain of only a couple that time for James. And boy, his impact has been felt. The kick return, the punt return, and now Brandon James getting a chance to carry the ball out of the running back position for the Gators.
And David, he is fearless when he's running the football. That time he's got a linebacker and a cornerback coming up. He just splits both of them, you know, full speed.
Low snap, but Tebow fields it, fires it to Cornelius Ingram. Dragged a man with him 4 or 5 yards to the 25-yard line. And this Troy defense starting to drop their heads a little bit. Their daubers are down, Nat, just a bit. They've given up a lot of yards and a lot of points to the Gators here in the first half of the game.
Well, they catch him in a zone. Nice little turn out there by Cornelius Ingram. Catches the ball in his hand and then drags a couple of defenders to pick up the needed yardage for first down.
A lot of hands on hips down there in that Troy defense. They have been out on the field a long time in the first half.
Well, when your offense can't move the football, eventually it starts to wear on you, and you know you only can play so long before you tire. Here's another crossing route.
Well, that's open all day, isn't it? Ingram over the middle. You got those speedy wide receivers that are clearing everything out, and then Ingram pops about 10 yards over the middle of the field wide open.
And it's a decision you have to make as a defense. Are you going to give up the deep one, or are you going to force them to toss it underneath and then try and come up and make the tackle? Well, the Gators will take this all afternoon or all evening, shall I say, if you're going to drop everybody 12, 15 yards deep and let them get the ball to the underneath receiver with room to run.
Red zone offense. The Gators have been perfect so far today, and here they are again. They were perfect last week against Western Kentucky. Kestahn Moore running hard again off tackle. And he's down at the Troy 7. Kestahn Moore, boy, he's an improved running back from a year ago as well. 7 carries, 44 yards for Moore.
Well, I agree with you, but when you've got Jason Watkins, Jim Tart, Drew Miller, then you've got Pouncey pulling around, as well as the fullback Eric Rutledge leading through in the soft spot, you know, it's a little easier to run up in there. I might be able to still do that at age 56.
I bet you could, Nat.
Not for long.
Kestahn Moore, his helmet comes flying off. Not as good as you once was, but you're as good once as you ever was, right? Well, country song goes. You could probably get it done occasionally out there.
No, on the last play there was a little hitting going on. I don't want to be up in there, but nice job by Kestahn Moore. You know, Hat gets knocked off. Watch, good blocking up front. He sticks in there, gets his pads down low. Hat comes off. He just continues to move. Picks up an additional 2 or 3 yards. So a lot of effort by not only the offensive line, but also the running back and just sticking it up in there, getting those tough yards.
He may have been trying to impress Earl Everett. I don't know. 3rd down and short yardage at the 5-yard line. Tebow rifling it, and it's caught by Ingram. He's got great hands, as we've seen repeatedly here tonight. And Tim Tebow throwing another strike. Well, the Gator offense really clicking against Troy, and the extra point by Ehouse is good. He is 6 for 6 tonight, 13 for 13 for the year. And Cornelius Ingram, the converted quarterback, I don't think he minds that conversion right now. He is having fun. And just under 3 minutes to play in the first half. David Steele, Nat Moore, Steve Babbitt. Cornelius Ingram, the former quarterback, played basketball for about 19 games back in 2004 for Billy Donovan. But right now he is a very talented receiver on this Florida football team. Nat, what do you like about Ingram?
Well, I like his patience as he runs route. He doesn't rush anything. He has great hands, catches the ball in his hands. He's got big hands, and he always, David, goes forward. He's always going north and south, picking up additional yardage.
Offensive coordinator Dan Mullen has to be excited about his team's play early here tonight. 289 yards in first half offense for Dan Mullen's Florida offensive attack. That spread offense has Troy just trying to figure out where the ball's going to go to next. Straight snaps to Andre Caldwell. Tebow's accurate and strong arm. This kick is out of bounds. And Troy will have the option of taking it or having Florida kick it again. 35-yard line, Troy. First down and 10. And Hagabook will keep and pick up 3 yards to the 38. Jock Rickerson is in the ball game for the Gators, number 23, a redshirt freshman from St. Augustine. As Greg Madison, Charlie Strong rotating a lot of young players in and out of the game tonight. Secondary coach Chuck Heater does a marvelous job with that group. And it's second down and 7 for Troy. Good protection. The pass caught. That's Travis Boyd on the receiving end, and a good solid hit by Brandon Spikes, number 51.
And David, when you talk about this secondary and look at the Gator secondary, you've got true freshman Joe Hayton at the corner, true freshman Major Wright at the free safety, and then you bring in Rickerson, and those are your first 5 DBs playing here this afternoon. So a lot of confidence in these young guys, and they're getting some great experience here today.
Hagabook steps up, throws a strike. It's caught at the Florida 45-yard line. And down to the 39 goes Cornelius Williams. Tony Joyner made the tackle. Hagabook standing tall in the pocket. And a nicely thrown ball by the senior from Belglade.
Good blocking by the offensive line, and Hagabook puts the ball right on the money. Had to be a blown assignment because, when you have a receiver, Cornelius Williams running that free, David, somebody blew an assignment.
Yeah. Hagabook has it batted down and picked off. Justin Tratto, a true freshman from Ramsey, New Jersey, showing some real athleticism on this play.
Well, I said earlier that what's going to start happening is these defensive ends will read that bubble screen, and they're going to try and get their hands up. What I forgot to say is they're going to get their hands up, bat it down, and then intercept it the way Justin Tratto did right here. Just an outstanding athletic effort by the true freshman, Tratto.
Well, you were talking, and we'll get another look, talking about this great freshman class. It's one thing to get a piece of it, but then the athleticism of the big fella to lunge forward and make the interception, really remarkable. We're talking about a 6'4", 260-pound guy. A rare Tebow incompletion on first down. It'll be second and 10. Tim is 11 of 14 throwing the football here in the first half. His parents went to Florida, Bob and Pam, and his dad, I am told, Nat, was a very good athlete. He quarterbacked the FCA intramural football team to the championship when he was a student here. And so those are pretty good genes that Tim Tebow picked up from his mom and dad.
Well, I'll tell you, when you look at the ability of Tebow and how difficult it is to get him on the ground. There's something about Tim Tebow that is, as much as you try and keep him clean, he refuses to avoid the contact. You know, you've got a 35-7 lead, and he still refuses to go down at the point of contact. I mean, excuse me, a 42-7 lead.
3rd down and 10. Tebow threads the needle to Harvin. He had about 2 feet to sneak that pass in there, and he got it through. What a terrific throw by Tebow, and a nice catch by Percy Harvin right in front of the defender, Albert Mack.
And David, this is where we see the arm strength of Tim Tebow, because he's not able to set his feet to make this throw. You know, he's moving. He throws this ball on the move and gets it over the linebacker head. Nice job by Percy of catching the football and then getting down, not taking the big hit.
Ingram with his 6th catch of the first half. Boy, Troy just has no answers for this Florida offense, which is really effective tonight. Time ticking down in the 2nd quarter. The Gators have already put 42 points on the scoreboard.
And as soon as Ingram catches the football, he turns upfield. You know, I mean, he's not trying to outrun anybody to the corner. He's just going to turn up the field and go north and south.
Harvin to the 5. Tackle made by Romanique Lewis out of Fort Lauderdale, number 41 out of Piper High School. But well, these 29 Floridians on this Troy roster, they probably are in a state of shock right now. The Gator offense just running all over them in the first half of the game.
And what you like is, as soon as these receivers catch the football, everybody's trying to get a hat on a defender to help get them into the end zone. But as soon as they see that they can't get it outside, they're turning it up, going north and south. Now watch Percy. He's the speed guy. He doesn't try and outrun anybody outside. He turns it upfield. You know, as a coach, you want to see your receivers, you want to see your running backs go north and south, because that's how you move the chains. You know, even though this is not an SEC opponent, it make you wonder, how good can they be?
Tebow getting some pressure, but he calmly stands back there and finds Jared Faison for the touchdown.
And we hadn't called Jared Faison's name all night, and lo and behold, nice job by Tebow.
Tim Tebow with the touchdown pass, his 3rd touchdown strike of the game. And Ehas is 7 for 7. And with 22 seconds left in the first half, the Gators are 1 point shy of a half 100. Tebow hit after he threw the football, but I'm not sure that he even felt it.
Well, that just make him feel like he's playing football. You know, I remember, he's a guy that he welcomes contact 90% of the time, and he'll take this hit all day if he can throw touchdowns like he does here to Jared Faison. Nice job by Faison of getting down on the football, cuddling the football, making the short catch.
Another one of those high school quarterbacks you mentioned. Of course, often times your best players at this level of college football played some quarterback in high school. Faison did that at Tampa Hillsborough. Well, pretty nice first half for Tim Tebow, wouldn't you say? 15 of 18 for Tebow, 217 yards, 3 touchdown passes, 1 touchdown run. Joey Ehas squibs it, and uh-oh, Troy's in trouble. McKelvin has to retreat to the 5-yard line. He's going to get bottled up inside the 15 at the 11.
You know, whether you're going to kick it deep each and every time, or whether you're going to squib it. You know, you try and disrupt the special teams unit from setting up their returns, and whether it's pinning them in the corner, as we did last week a lot, shall I say the Gators did last week against Western Kentucky, or just kicking it high down the middle, and then the famous pooch kick.
Hand off to Juwan Harris, and that'll be the end of the first half. So the Gators forcing an interception, a fumble. They blocked a punt. They had a big kick return, a big punt return. The offense ran all over the field. Tim Tebow throws for 3 touchdowns. And the Gators extremely impressive in the first half of the game, leading 49-7. Steve.
Coach Meyer, first half, offense, defense, special teams all played a part. What did you like about your offense in the first half?
I really like our defense and special teams. I think our offense is still coming. I mean, we've got we obviously scored some points, but when you play defense against a good offense like this, and that special teams, we've had a bunch of short drives now.
Coach, that block punt really got things going.
Yeah, block punts are the greatest momentum changer in college football, and our guys believe that, and they did a nice job. We actually got 2 block punts in the first half.
Coach, Tim Tebow spreading the ball around. He's got a lot of talented wide receivers. You talked about playmakers. We're seeing that in the first half.
Well, they made a decision. They're playing all zone coverage behind us, and they're just giving us all that short underneath stuff. And obviously, you get guys like C.I. and Percy and Murph running with the ball like that. They do a nice job.
Seems like the defense made a change after maybe a slow start in the first quarter. What have they done as far as maybe getting to the ball quicker?
Well, I think what's happened is we're up on them and we're forcing them to be one-dimensional right now. And any offense that they can run, they came out running the ball a little bit on us early. And obviously the nice run they had there. So if we can stay up on a team, force them to be one-dimensional, you can rush your quarterback.
Coach, what's your plans for the second half as far as personnel?
Oh, keep going as hard as we can. Now, we're a young team. We got to get as much experience as we can.
Thanks, Coach.
When you can have a monster game like Riley Cooper did last week, and then this week, you haven't even seen the football as of yet.
He caught 4 balls, 2 touchdowns, 122 yards last week. And as you mentioned, Nat has not seen the ball, has not had one thrown his way so far tonight. And Florida takes the kick to start the second half. Look out. Brandon James almost broke it big, but he's down at the 33-yard line after a 32-yard return. Well, you hold your breath every time he returns a kick or a punt. The Gators scoring 7 touchdowns in the first half. Tebow threw for 3, ran for another. Kestahn Moore ran for 2. Then underneath route open again. This time it's caught but then fumbled by Caldwell and picked up by McKelvin. Leotis McKelvin is driven forward and out of bounds at the 4-yard line by Louis Murphy.
Great effort by Louis Murphy to save the touchdown as he came out of nowhere.
That underneath route has been open all game long. This time the ball was knocked loose by number 41 Romanique Lewis out of Fort Lauderdale, and then McKelvin, terrific cornerback, picking it up and almost taking it in for the touchdown. So the Gators turn the ball over.
You hate to see things like that happen if you're the Gator coaches, but also you got to get a chance to see how you handle adversity. And now the defense, this young defense, will get a chance to see if they can't keep them out of the end zone.
Troy at the Florida 4 after the miscue. Hagebook's pass is deflected and incomplete. Nearly picked off by Spikes after the deflection.
This could have been that sudden change. You had sudden change on offense. Here's a chance for sudden change on defense. Good job by Pierre-Louis. And Spikes just not able to come down with the grab. Got to put 2 hands on that football.
That was Michael Terry, the intended receiver. Hagebook. Incomplete again. Joyner with good coverage this time on Gerald Jernigan.
And very surprising that they've come out and thrown it 2 successive times, have not even tried to run the football. Don't be surprised on this play if we don't see some type of quarterback draw.
Yeah, I think you might see Hagebook try and take it in. Idolized to Charlie Ward growing up as a youngster in Belle Glade. He wears number 17 in honor of Charlie Ward. And here he is, throwing for the end zone. Too high, overthrown and incomplete. Well, 3 consecutive pass plays by Hagebook and this Troy offense, and now it's 4th down, and they'll settle for an attempted field goal.
And I'm telling you, if you're Charlie Strong, you're Greg Mann, you don't ever want to see your team turn over the football, but that's big for this young defense to go in 3 and out, force them to settle for a field goal attempt.
Kicker is Greg Wibbs, whose grandfather was the mayor of Pensacola for 13 years. It's a 21-yard attempt, and it is good by Wibbs. And Troy tacks on 3 off the Florida fumble to start the 3rd quarter. It's a team that took Florida State to the wire. Georgia Tech in a close game lost. In 2004, the defending national champion LSU Tigers hosted Troy at Baton Rouge and escaped with a 24-20 win over Larry Blakeney's team. And they beat a nationally ranked Missouri team in 2004. So this is a good football team, but Florida just dominating here early in the 3rd quarter. Here goes James. Brandon James, the sophomore from St. Augustine, with the long punt return in the first half, a long kick return, in the first half, and this one goes for 36 yards, giving the Gators good field position again at the 42-yard line. Brandon James, unable to play last week, serving a one-game suspension. Has he ever come back strong with a terrific punt return, a kick return, setting up Gator scores earlier in the football game? Now the coaches say that James is a much stronger, quicker athlete than he was 1 year ago, and that's a testament to the strength and conditioning program the Gators have. You expect your young guys to step it up from year 1 to year 2, and Brandon James has done that in a big way. Kestahn Moore gang tackled near the line of scrimmage, led by Sean Todd, a senior from Crestview, Florida, number 58.
To Troy's credit, they have not quit. They've come back out here in the second half, especially this defense that, they could have hung their heads to come out to get one takeaway. Now all of a sudden they're able to dominate the line of scrimmage, and it's up to this Florida football team not to come out here and phone it in. They've got to come out and play as if the score is 0-0 and continue to build on the lead.
Well, the challenge is keeping your motivation when you go into the locker room leading by 42 points. Right now it's Troy that is the aggressor, as Moore is stopped again for a short gain. Give him 2 yards this time, but Todd is there to make the tackle again.
Now earlier in the ball game, the offensive line was just dominating the defensive line of the Trojans. Now you see the Trojans getting more of a push up the field. You're seeing more of those crimson or aqua helmets around the football,
There you see the Gators' third down conversions. They have yet to punt the ball tonight. It is 3rd and 7. Tebow will throw, and they will punt now. The pass thrown a little low and behind Harvin, and it'll be 4th down for Florida. There's a flag on the play, however. It'll be against Florida, the preliminary indication.
Look like Florida's going to get hit with a face mask call. But similar to last week, David, the Gators come back out in the second half and a little sloppy.
Personal foul, face mask. Number 67 on the offense. That penalty is refused. It'll be 4th down.
Drew Miller, senior center out of Sarasota Riverview, gets the call. There's a good look at Steve Dazio, offensive line coach.
Drew Miller, all-conference guard last year, moved over to the center spot to replace Steve Rissler, his good buddy. Florida punting for the first time. Freshman Chaz Henry standing back at the 31-yard line. It's a high spiral, and it is hitting at the 20, and a flag is thrown. I think there was some early contact before that ball got there.
Jamar Hornsby. Yeah, Jamar Hornsby. He's got to be more aware of
where the ball is.
Well, not only where the ball is, but the right of the receiver to catch the football. He fair catches the football, he ducks his head, and in the process, he never sees the fair catch. I think that's what happened, David.
Well, another mistake by the Gators. Urban Meyer having a talk with the redshirt freshman.
Right there. Now watch him duck his head so he doesn't see the receiver as he starts to signal for the fair catch. Here's another look at it. You've got to allow McKelvin a chance to catch the football.
Well, that's head-to-head, too.
Yeah.
Kick catch, interference. Number 7 on the kicking team. 15 yards from the spot of the foul. It'll be 1st down.
Well, no argument from anybody in this stadium on that call. Hornsby, the redshirt freshman, flagged for 15. Florida still leads 49-10, but they've lost the momentum early in the 3rd quarter.
On this date in Gator football history, back September 8th, 1990, the fun and gun offense is underway. Steve Spurrier's first game on the first play. Guess what? Shane Matthews hits Ernie Mills, and we are off and running. The Gators win that game 50-7. Shane Matthews, 332 yards passing.
And it's with the spread offense that most people say would not work in the SEC. And now what you're finding is more teams trying to run the spread offense, David.
Yeah, it's spreading, isn't it? That's Cattouse, tripped up by Javier Estopinan. And a gain of 7 on the first down play for Troy after a 15-yard penalty. It's a score from Athens, Georgia, with Steve Spurrier's Gamecocks leading the Bulldogs in the third quarter. Georgia impressive in week 1 against Oklahoma State, and South Carolina not so impressive in their opening game, but their starting quarterback Blake Mitchell did not play in that one.
South Carolina returned, I think it was about 20, 19, 20,
starters, yeah.
20 starters from last year, so you can bet on Coach Spurrier having those guys fired up and ready to play.
Sure. Third down and a couple. Hagabook is hit hard but throws a strike, and Troy picks up the first down. The pass caught by Cornelius Williams.
You need to be able to force Hagabook to hold this ball a split second long, and Dustin Doe gets there, but because you're uncovering those receivers, giving them a free release, he's not, he can throw the ball on rhythm. That time he was able to get rid of it just as the defender got there to put the hit on him.
First and 10. Swing pass is caught. Silvoy, his first catch in a long time. He caught one early. And the former high school teammate of Tim Tebow, who caught 63 passes and 7 touchdowns in his senior year along with Tebow at Nice High School, gets his second catch of the game tonight.
And this is just a simple, it's almost like an extended handoff to the slot guy. You get him the football, try and get him catching the ball on the move and allow him to run with the football. Nice job by Silvoy after the catch to pick up the first down for the Trojans.
Flanker screen. Silvoy again with a nice duck to the outside, and out of bounds he goes at the Florida 34. Joyner makes the tackle along with free safety Major Wright.
Nice block also out there by the wide receiver Gerald Tate to help spring Austin Silvoy as he catches the football, and then Monroe bites the cheese, comes inside. Silvoy bounces it outside. Good yardage on first down.
And the Trojans are on the move. Florida showing a blitz. They're coming, and the pass is deflected and incomplete. There is a flag down. Someone jumped. I think one of the blitzing linebackers came across the line of scrimmage early.
Gators are starting to try and bring some pressure, and that time you forced Hagabook to throw the ball before he's ready because he had a receiver open.
Offside. Number 8 on the defense. 5-yard penalty from the previous spot. The result of the penalty is a first down.
Well, you got some young Gators out there. That's Carlos Dunlap. He's a good-looking freshman from North Charleston, South Carolina. He's out there. 95, Torrey Davis, a freshman from Seffner out of the Tampa Bay area. Duke Lemons, a freshman from California, number 44, is in the game. And the ball is caught, and Troy is inside the 10-yard line. Josh Allen, the senior from Tifton, Georgia, is on the receiving end of a Hagabook pass down inside the 10.
Gators are sitting back in a zone defense, and you're just not getting the defender, the inside defender, back in position to see the release of the football.
Hagabook pitching to Cattouse on the option. He's run out of bounds at the 4. Well, the second half has gone just the total opposite of the first half for the Gators. They have come out of the locker room very lackadaisically, and they find themselves now trying to stop Troy sitting at their 4-yard line. On the option, the pitch, and a nice hit on Harris, and then a flag is thrown as Harris is driven back across the 5-yard line. Dunlap was there.
Another missed tackle. Nice job of playing the pitch, forcing the quarterback Hagabook to pitch it early, and the Gators have a chance to converge on the ball carrier.
Incidental face mask. Number 19 on the defense. Half the distance to the goal.
Tony Joyner.
Will still be second down.
That's 8 penalties now against the Gators, only 2 against Troy.
Everything's done right there. And then right here, you've got to make that tackle, and you don't get this face mask call. Tony Jordan comes in trying to clean up and get called for grabbing the face mask.
Second down. Hagebook trying to back his way into the end zone. No signal yet. Or at least from those in striped shirts. A lot of Troy offensive players indicating a touchdown. And now the official call is touchdown Hagebook.
Good effort by Hagebook. His second touchdown run of the day. He was stopped at the line of scrimmage and just fought his way in, turned his back, used those powerful legs to get into the end zone on that 2-yard touchdown run. Also threw the ball exceptionally well doing that drive, David.
Now, Troy was embarrassed in the first half, and they've come out with a good attitude, winning attitude in the third period. The Gators struggling now in the first 5+ minutes of the second half of the game. Another flag is dropped.
Prior to the snap, false start. Number 73 on the offense. 5-yard penalty from the previous spot. We'll redo the try.
That's Steven Adams, who moved early for Troy. So the extra point will come from the 7-yard line. And will be a 25-yard extra point attempt by Wibbs. And the kick is good, so the senior from Pensacola out of Catholic High School knocks in the extra point for Troy. The Trojans have scored 10 unanswered points in the third quarter. But Florida still is on top, 49-17, with 9:49 to play in the third.
It happened up in Kentucky. Had a big lead start at the end of the half, came back out, and we had to fight for our lives to get out of there. And that was with a veteran team. So when you look at a very young team, it's kind of easy for them to fall into that trap.
Returnable ball from the 2-yard line for the first time tonight. It is not Brandon James. I think it is Rainey. After the 40-yard line. And there is a flag down. Nope, it was
ball came out.
Oh, fumble at the 40, and Troy's got it. So the Gators have turned the ball over again, and I think it was Chris Rainey. We're still waiting to see the pile unstack, but Florida has turned it over. It is the freshman from Lakeland on the return. A nice return, but then he does not protect the football, and it's stripped away by one of the Trojans, and now they're sitting at the Florida 40.
Well, this is where now you got to crank up your defense and get a stop. You cannot allow the Troy football team to feel like they're back in this ball game with a chance to win.
They screen it out to Williams. He looked to throw briefly, and now he'll tuck it under and pick up 3 yards to the 37. Steve.
The tone on the Gator sideline for that short rest by the defense, both Greg Madison and Charlie Strong, it was more teaching and coaching, not much yelling, because I don't think it's a lack of effort. They had some guys out of position, especially on the defensive line, and Greg Madison was making sure that they knew where to line up, and he asked some of the guys, what'd you have on that play? He clearly could tell there's some confusion up front.
Well, so many young players on this Florida defense. I think somebody stepped offside that time, but the ball is thrown and caught. And another positive play for Troy's offense. Dustin Doe is there to make the tackle, but another well-thrown pass by senior quarterback Omar Hagebook, a 17-yard pickup on that play.
Andrew Davis catches this ball in stride and is able to come very close to splitting the defense. And what we're seeing right now, David, is the defensive line is trying to get a jump, and they're trying to cheat it instead of waiting on the snap count and then just whooping the guy in front of you.
That time they were jumping around just prior to the snap of the ball, but Trateau came in and made a nice tackle on Katus.
And the interesting part is they're listening to the quarterback calling snap counts, but remember, we were told that the center snaps the ball. When he's ready, he calls out all the blocking schemes as well.
Pressure, spikes, nails the quarterback at the 30-yard line. The sophomore linebacker out of Shelby, North Carolina, came blitzing in, and Hagebook that time did not have enough time to get rid of the football.
Brandon Spikes comes from the weak side. This time, the Trojans try and go deep with the football. Before they've been getting rid of the ball real quick. This time they try and go upfield. Spikes gets there, gets the sack prior to Hagebook being able to set up and throw the ball.
Third down and long for Troy. Offensive coordinator Tony Franklin. Hand signaling in the play call. That negates the noise here at the Swamp. Incomplete. Intended for Jernigan. And it'll be fourth down for the Trojans.
Trojans have had quite a few drops here tonight. That was another perfectly thrown ball to Jernigan. When you start looking around anticipating the hit, a lot of times you put the ball on the ground.
They're going to send their field goal team on with 7:37 to play. And Wibbs, who hit last week against Arkansas from 42 and 32 yards, will attempt one from 45 yards. He's got the distance, but the kick is no good. Greg Wibbs, whose career best 48 yards, this time had enough distance, but he misses from 45. And Florida's defense holds after the second turnover by the Gators in the third quarter.
Nice job by the defense of coming out, shutting this down. And Wibbs just hooks this ball. And it sails left on him. Plenty of leg. When you look at this game, David, when you've got 29 players from the state of Florida playing here in the state of Florida, there is not going to be any quit. Right. You've got to know that if you're the Florida Gators, that these guys are going to battle till the end.
Well, you got a number of individuals on that Troy sideline that wanted to be Florida Gators, that hoped to play for the Gators here in the Swamp. Tebow swarmed by Sean Todd, number 58. Well, he's played a terrific second half.
And as good as the offensive line was in the first half, they're just as bad here in the second half, as you've got 3 or 4 guys in the backfield. Nobody is blocked, and Potem Tebow has nowhere to go with the football. There's a good look at a lot of those young men that are here on the Trojan football team that's from the state of Florida.
Tebow's got time. And Ingram, after the catch, gets just a couple to the 30. That'll bring up a third down and 9. Marcus Richardson out of Pensacola makes the stop. Richardson, the senior from Pensacola High School. Now, Richardson made some comments before the game, as the injured player is Leotis McKelvin. Richardson made some comments before the game. Could wind up, probably did wind up on Florida's bulletin board. He said, I think our speed matches up with anybody, including the Florida Gators.
Well, they need to talk to Ohio State about that.
Tebow looking at a third down and about 8. And there comes Richardson. Well, that's a tough linebacker right there. He suffered a broken collarbone in their game against Georgia Tech, tackling Calvin Johnson, their great wide receiver, and only missed a couple of games.
And he's going to come right up the middle right there. Excuse me, the other side, back's not able to get over and get the block, but you've got the back on the right side. The center blocks right instead of blocking left and allowing the back to pick up the guy to his side. Very difficult block for Kestahn Moore to get over and try and make that block.
And some adjustments by the Troy defensive staff. Their coordinator Jeremy Rowell making some adjustments in that blitz, putting Florida in punt position for the second time. This time Henry's punt is fielded, fair catch at the 43-yard line by Mack after a 38-yard punt by Chaz Henry.
The Gators have had the ball 3 series. They had 1 play with a fumble, and then you come back 3 plays and a punt, 3 plays and a punt. Just not what you expect from this Gator football team.
No, and a penalty on that first punt on the hit on the return man. Williams tackled by A.J. Jones and Ryan Stamper. And a short gain for the Trojans on first down.
And I tell you where that really hurts this football team, David, is you'd like to be able to get some young guys, get some more guys in the ball game, get them some experience, but when all of a sudden you're self-destructing, it's kind of hard to have that wholesale change.
Blitz on. Hagebook is incomplete, intended for Williams. Boy, he had to get rid of that pass so quickly because linebacker Ryan Stamper was in his face.
Nice job by the defensive end. Number 44, Duke Lemon, dropping into coverage to help take away that passing route.
Third down and 7 from the Trojan 46. Plenty of time on the play clock for Hagebook. And he throws a strike over the middle and a first down for the Trojans. Andrew Davis is the receiver, and Troy is in Florida territory at the Gator 38 after the 18-yard pickup.
This time, David, what happens is, watch Ryan Stamper. He's back, and now he's going to bite on the crossing route. And when he bites on the crossing route, you got a big hole in the zone defense that they're able to pass the football to the receiver.
On first down, Hagebook is chased out of bounds. He's an impressive quarterback. I mean, when he has time to work back there, even when he doesn't, he makes some pretty good plays.
Well, David, you don't complete 61% of your passes. I don't care if you are throwing bubble screens, unless you're a pretty accurate quarterback that you can throw the ball down the field as well as being able to throw that bubble screen, hitting receivers on the move. So, very talented young man, and playing at Belle Glade Central High School. I know he's played for high school championships in the past. So.
Last year against a good defensive team from Florida State, he completed 29 of 46. Short toss. They set up the screen again. And some positive yardage and what appears to be another Trojan first down. And John Curtis makes the tackle on Gary Banks.
Gators come with a blitz. He's able to get rid of the ball on a little slot screen. Nice job after the catch, turning it up, taking the hit, but picking up another Trojan first down.
First down at the 25-yard line. That time Hagebook threw it behind his intended receiver at the 20-yard line. And that ball was intended for Gerald Tate. Steve?
David and Nat, let me ask you this. As far as what you're watching, the tempo, the no huddle, how effective is that? I think if you've got the athletes, you can do it. It's a pretty effective way to run an offense.
Well, what makes it effective is that your offensive line is not burning any energy. Plus, when you get up to the line of scrimmage, you've got plenty of time on the play clock to make any adjustment that you'd like to make.
Now, Florida's rotating a lot of defenders on and off the field. Well, you should have fresh people out there all the time. Another pass complete for the Troy Trojans. That's number 83, Zach Markham. Well, they use a lot of people at the wide receiver positions. Markham with his first catch of the year out of London, Kentucky.
Yeah, David, as we were putting our charts together and looking at how many receivers and how many different guys they play, it was kind of hard to figure out who was where.
They got 3 to the right, 2 men wide to the left. Third down and 8. Throws it up and incomplete, and a flag is thrown. Well, the receiver was nowhere near the football, but we got a flag call, a flag thrown, and a penalty appears to be going against the Gators.
They might call this on Dustin Doe.
Another Florida penalty. It'll be their 9th of the game. This one costly because the Gators appeared to have stopped the Trojans.
Slot receiver actually beats the linebacker who's out in coverage, Dustin Doe. He just reaches out and grabs.
Number 32 on the defense. The ball is placed at the spot of the foul. Automatic first down.
We don't have a good angle of it, but to suffice it to say that Davis never had a chance to get to the spot where the ball was thrown. And so it's a first down for the Trojans at the 11-yard line. They've already scored 10 unanswered points in the third quarter. Michael Terry is blasted by Doe.
Well, if you make a mistake like Dustin Doe and you give them a first down, down inside your 10-yard line, well, this is how you make up for that. You read the screen, you read your keys, you see the lineman coming out, you beat him to the punch, you get up, and you destroy the receiver prior to him catching the football.
No gain on first down. We approach the 3-minute mark in period number 3. The Gators scored 42 unanswered points in the first half. Hoggebuk's throw is caught for the touchdown. Michael Terry. Or make that Silvoy, Austin Silvoy, the freshman, on the receiving end. And so Troy now with a field goal and 2 touchdowns in the third period. And they've cut the lead to 49-23 with the extra point still to come.
And David, once again, the Gators looked like they were some confusion on the coverage, whether it was actually zone or man. Rickerson looked like he was looking for help from the inside position and never got it.
And then Silvoy, the holder, whibs the extra point to cut the lead to 49-24.
Let's go back and take a look at it. Here's a good look at what happens in the pocket, but all of a sudden you've got a receiver running wide open, Silvoy. As the actual mistake is made once again, David, by the linebacker that is influenced by the crossing route. You know, this is the same thing that Florida's been doing all day, running some people deep, then run the crossing route underneath. Well, you can't fight on that. You got to stay back in the zone, force them to throw the ball underneath, and then come up and make the tackle. That time, Ryan Stamper came out of the coverage, and they threw the ball over his head for a touchdown.
Faison and Moore are standing deep, and it'll be Jared Faison on the return, and down he goes at the 30-yard line.
Well, David, it's amazing how when the momentum changes, how the momentum switches, all of a sudden you're playing very cautiously. You know, we've had great kick returns, or the Gators have had great kick returns all afternoon.
Well, Brandon James might have had a lot to do with that in the first half. He has not returned one in the third quarter.
And you have to wonder if he's not a little banged up since we have not seen him here.
No. Florida's offense looking to get something going. Pass is complete to Lewis Murphy. And some positive yardage, about 7 on the play to set up a 2nd down and 3. Murphy, who in the first half caught 5 passes for 71 yards. That's his first reception of the third quarter.
Well, this is the time you'd like to see your offense take control of the ball game again. You know, a nice long drive, take some time off the clock, put some points on the board.
You know, with Florida leading 49-7 at the half now, we thought Tim Tebow would play a series or 2 in the second half, but he's gone the distance so far for the Gators as Troy has mounted a nice comeback here in the third quarter. Kestahn Moore picks up the first down, the tackle by Romanique Lewis.
Little inside trap that time, and you get the guard pulling, kicks out, back turns it up, picks up the first down. You know, bread and butter play for the Gators.
Riley Cooper is wide to the left. Cooper, the star of last week's victory against Western Kentucky, has not caught a pass so far tonight. Here's the option. And the toss, it is blown up behind the line of scrimmage. What a terrific play by the Troy defense and number 37, Chris Bowens.
And this is on the outside receiver not getting their block, because you get what you're looking for. Now, if you can just get that block right there, number 86 doesn't get the block. Number 86 is Riley Cooper. Had a great ball game last week. He doesn't get the block, and all of a sudden you get your ball carrier blown up, as you see Jared Faison still down on the ground.
Good sign for Jared Faison. He's able to walk off the field under his own power.
Here's another look at the play, and as Faison takes the pitch, protects the football. Very important thing. You've turned the ball over twice here in the second half. He protects the football, gives up his body, gets a little nicked.
Nice hit by the sophomore Bowens. And it is 2nd and 10 for the Gators at their own 41-yard line. They're blitzing again. Tebow Scrambling around. Throwing on the run. And it is incomplete at the 45-yard line of Troy. Troy getting more pressure on Tebow in the second half, Nat. They're coming with different blitz packages.
And that time, Tim did not see the blitz coming. They showed it early, but he didn't pick up on it. And the receiver ran the hot route, but Tim wasn't ready to get him the football as he was looking to his right side where the blitz came from the weak side, which was the left side.
Now it's 3rd down and 10. No backs for Tebow. Only a 3-man rush, and they get him. With only 3 rushing, Tebow is dropped at the 40-yard line. That's a big play by Dion Gales, originally an Ole Miss signee, big number 99. Went to Mississippi Gulf Coast Community College and now a junior here at Troy.
And that's more so, that sack is not the offensive lineman's fault, because Tim slides up in the pocket, they're pushing people past and they're trying to keep him out, and he slides up where the defender is. So big difference here in the second half. Gators have given up 2 sacks, or they've kept him clean prior to.
And a flag is thrown as Henry is hit after the punt. And McKelvin hanging on at the 28-yard line on the return. Oh, Troy coming after Chaz Henry. And the penalty flag is thrown.
There's another look at it. Nice job by Henry of taking the contact and then getting down. And, you know, the key is this roughing the kicker or just running into the punter?
Number 27, the man who ran into Henry, Darrell Watts. And here's the call.
Run into the kicker on the defense. It'll be 5 yards from the previous spot and redo 4th down.
So it will not result in a Florida first down. It'll be 4th down for the Gators, and they'll punt the ball again. 4th down and about 7, I guess.
Ball came loose. Tony Joyner had a shot at trying to recover it, but the receiver was able to get back on the football. Nice job by the young man that put it on the ground. Punt returner, I think that was Albert Mackich.
Yeah, Albert Mack was the man back there, number 13. Another one of those junior college transfers. They've got a bunch of them on this Troy team. They got 18 JUCO transfers on their roster.
And quite a few of those kids are from the state of Florida that probably just didn't predict to get into a 4-year institution right away, that went to junior college, perfected their craft, got their grades up, and then transferred.
Well, that's going to be another interference call against the Gators on a high punt by Henry. And Kyle Jackson was in the vicinity and right up next to the return man, Mack. It was a short punt, but it was a mile high.
Well, it doesn't matter. You've got to give the punt returner a chance to catch the football once he signals fair catch.
Kick catch interference. Number 3 of the kicking team. It'll be 15 yards from the spot of the foul. First down.
And David, when you look at some of the things that are happening, these are your veterans. These are your seniors. You know, right there, you just got to get away. You know, there's no reason that you've got to run into the kicker.
Well, the third quarter, thankfully for Urban Meyer and his staff, comes to a close. It's all Troy in this 15-minute frame. The Trojans trailed 49-7 at the half, but they shut out the Gators and put 17 points on the board themselves in the period. And we're not going to be able to go to the fourth period just yet. Quarter cannot end on a penalty, and so Troy with first down at the 36-yard line. This will be the final play of the third quarter. Hagabook throwing behind his intended receiver at midfield and incomplete. Andrew Davis unable to reach back and get it. Pretty good coverage by Florida.
An update on Jarrett Faison. Left knee, okay. They took a look at the left knee, and Dr. Nello looked at it, and after they went through all their checks, Jared Faison said feels okay, and tapped him on the helmet and said you're good to go back in. So that's good news.
Good news. You definitely don't want any major injuries here this afternoon, especially when you think you've got a game on the wraps.
Pass intended for Banks, who's been very quiet tonight. Leading receiver Gary Banks with 99 career catches coming into the game.
Gators trying to get some pressure coming right up the middle. Huggebrook stays in the pocket, delivers the football. Banks just not able to come up with the catch.
Now it's 3rd and 10. The entire offensive line standing up, Nat, and looking to the sideline to get the play call along with the quarterback Huggebrook. Pressure from the outside, and the pass is incomplete. Good pressure from the outside by Brandon Spikes, the linebacker lined up over there. Let's take a look at the stats from the 3rd quarter comparing to the first half. Here's the first 3 quarters of game, and the Gators leading by 25 points. 354 total yards for the Gators, 248. Remember, at the half, Florida totally dominating the football game, and it was all Troy in the 3rd quarter.
Much different second half, and the Gators need a spark, something to try and regain this momentum. Got to stop defensively.
They tried to block the punt, and this is Faison, so unfazed by the apparent knee problem. Jared is able to return the punt, couple of yards back to the 33-yard line. Well, Florida's defense stopping the Trojans on that sequence. They take the football. The Gators at their own 33. Tim Tebow is still the quarterback for the Gators. Hands off to Percy Harvin. The explosive Harvin out of Virginia Beach, Virginia. Picking up about 10 yards on the first down play and near a first down marker before Terrence Moore makes the tackle, the strong safety.
And this is a good lesson for this young football team. You got to lead. You got to come out and build on it. The Gators go back to their bread and butter. They get the ball to their playmaker, Percy Harvin. He turns upfield. You'll still like to see those receivers downfield do a better job of blocking. The game's not over. You got to continue to bring it the entire ball game.
Big hole. Kestahn Moore to the 40-yard line of the Trojans. Boy, great blocking on that play. Elbert Mack saving the day for Troy, but not before an 18-yard run by Kestahn Moore.
Another good job. Offensive line starting to come off, get some blocks, a little twist block there. Now watch the receiver, Riley Cooper, right here. You got to throw. You just throw, get out of the way. You give your back an angle. When you're standing around, haven't done anything, the back can't decide whether to go right or left off you. Throw, force the defender to make a decision.
Direct snap for Percy Harvin. Only the 6th time he's touched the football tonight so far, and a flag is thrown as Harvin is down at the 31-yard line. Boris Lee, the middle linebacker, number 2, made the tackle. Gators have been heavily penalized tonight 10 times already, and they're backing up again.
I think they're going to call this on Pouncey.
Holding. Number 56 on the offense. 10 yards from the previous spot. Replay first down.
The 11th Florida penalty of the game. That one committed by the true freshman Marquise Pouncey out of Lakeland.
Here's a good look at it. He comes around, and right there, right in the middle of your screen, is what they call the hold on. Anytime you get those arms stretched out around the defender's head, they're going to call it on you.
Tebow sails one over the outstretched arm of Harvin.
And David, they've got to be very, very careful. That time as the ball went over Percy Harvin's head, he just let it go. That could have been ruled as a lateral and gave the Trojans a chance to pick up the football and return it. So, even though you think it's an incomplete pass, you're trying to throw a pass, you've got to get out there and make sure that the ball's blown dead before you give up on it.
Now it's 2nd down and 20 for Florida's struggling offense in this second half. The ball is at the 50-yard line. The defender got there just a hair too soon. That's Trevor Ford, number 12, a transfer from Florida State, and the flag is thrown. Only going to be the 5th penalty against Troy. There's your first half stats. It was 49-7. The Gators had 342 yards in total offense, and third quarter only. Look at that, 9 first downs for the Trojans, only 1 for the Gators, and 12 total yards for the Gators compared to 118 for Troy.
-7 yards rushing. You know, when you talk about an offensive line that has been doing an outstanding job of keeping the quarterback clean, opening holes for the runners, you go -7 yards rushing and you give up 2 sacks.
On the penalty, it's first down at the 45. Tebow keeps on the option. Nice cut back to the inside. And Tim Tebow picks up 8 yards to the 37-yard line before Deion Gales, number 99, makes the stop for Troy. A transfer or actually a signee of the Ole Miss Rebels. They've got Chris Bradwell, defensive tackle, who started his career at Florida State. Trevor Ford, who we saw just a moment ago on the pass interference call, transferred from Florida State. Second down and short yardage for the Gators. They get the ball in the hands of Harvin again. Harvin inside the 20 to the 18-yard line of Troy.
And David, this is what a playmaker does. When his team's struggling, he steps up and make a play. Now watch him split the defense. Everybody's running, trying to keep him from getting outside, and he just turns it up. Here's another look at it. Look like he's going to go outside. He makes that sharp cut, and he goes north and south, picks up 15, 16 yards on the run. Averaging 12 yards a carry, 3 carries, 36 yards for Percy.
The give is to Moore up the middle, and nothing happening there on the first down play.
You know, guys, I'm almost wondering if halftime came at a bad time. A lot of times the football team needs a half. This Gator team, I guess, could have gone from the second quarter right to the third quarter. A lot of young guys experiencing a big lead at the half of the first time. Maybe a lesson learned in how to handle halftime and come out in the third quarter and play better. But we'll see how coach responds at the end of this game.
You know, they didn't play a full game last week due to the lightning strike. The game ended 8.5 minutes early, so maybe this young team just needed to play a full football game. Lightning couldn't save them tonight, Nat.
No, and if you remember last week, they came out to start the second half. Once again, they were a little sloppy.
Nice move by Tebow to squeeze out a couple of additional yards after he was hit. And brought down at the 14-yard line by Tavares Williams.
This is just a straight quarterback draw. Nice reaction by the Trojan defense, not allowing Tebow to split the defense. Holding him to a very short gain on that run.
10.5 minutes to play in the fourth quarter. Florida threatening in the red zone. They've been perfect in the red zone so far tonight. Good protection for Tebow. But he can't find an open man. And the short pass is batted away and incomplete by Mack. Mack came to Troy along with the quarterback Hagebook from Dodge City Community College. He's a senior out of Wichita, Kansas. And that brings up fourth down in the field goal team. So Joey Ehas will have a chance to knock through his first career field goal. Senior from Clearwater lines it up right in front of the post. It'll be a 32-yard attempt. And it is good. So Ehas, who was perfect in the extra point department this year, 14 out of 14, knocks home a 32-yard field goal to put the Gators over the century mark and on the scoreboard for the first time in the second half. It is 52-24 with 10:05 left in the fourth period.
Joey Ehas, a big part of the Gator offense as a place kicker. Who is Joey Ehas? Well, let's learn a little bit about Joey. He's from Clearwater, Florida. And earlier this year, he was able to make a long field goal to win a scholarship. Coach Meyer challenged him. He made that big kick. Take a look at Joey Ehas in his form. A very strong kicker, more of a soccer kicker back in his high school days at Clearwater. That one makes it in the left upright, and Joey Ehas has now been able to establish himself as the place kicker. 1 year at East Carolina. Last year as the kickoff man, 11 touchbacks and 68 kickoffs, and he was a member of the Clearwater State Championship soccer team. So Joey Ehas is making a name for himself. Get that spelling right. There's 2 J's in Ehas. Back upstairs.
2 J's, not 2 I's, right, Steve? Joey kicks it high and coming down at the 10-yard line. This is DeJuan Harris, and Harris has tripped up near the 20-yard line. A nice open field tackle by the Gators' Joey Sorrentino. Troy, the defending champions of the Sun Belt Conference. A conference which last year went 0-24 against BCS football teams. Here's the pass completed to Gerald Tate. Florida's defensive philosophy today: keep the Trojans in front of them, not give up the big play, and really that's the way it's been played defensively on both sides of the field, Nat.
Yeah, and the irony of it was they did such a nice job of it in the first half, and then in the second half, linebackers and safeties start biting on that underneath route and letting them throw the ball over the top. So
screen pass. And Harris is bounced out of bounds across the 35 at about the 37-yard line by Wandy Pierre-Louis. But it's a 10-yard pickup for the Trojans, and they move the chains. Here's another look.
As you look at it, nice job of setting it up, sets inside. It ended up being a middle screen, but a good job by the cornerback Pierre-Louis of coming up, making the short tackle, not letting that become a big play.
It's quite a sight over there, all those hand signals. Hagebrook checking it out. And the pass intended for Davis, thrown behind him a bit and incomplete. It'll be 2nd and 10. Last week, Hagebrook threw the ball 43 times against Arkansas. He's attempted 42 already here tonight. Going to have to ice that shoulder again after this ball game.
But he's had some success throwing the ball, especially here in the second half. A few drop balls, but has really stood in there and tried to bring his team back.
That's coverage by the linebacker. Spikes on Silvoy, and the pass is incomplete. It'll bring up 3rd and 10 for Troy. Tim Tebow, by comparison, has thrown the ball 25 times, completed 18. Hagebrook is 24 out of 43. He did throw 1 interception, a terrific pick by freshman defensive end Justin Tratto. 3rd and 10. Gary Banks hit by Major Wright at the 40, but Troy has the ball across midfield and a first down at the Gator 40-yard line.
The more and more I see of Omar Hagebrook, the more I realize that this guy has a tremendous arm. You give him time to throw the football, he throws it out there on a rope. Nice job by the receiver, Gary Banks, coming back to meet the football. Joe Hayton, the freshman corner, bites on the inside move. That's where your help is. You got to stay outside.
Another screen. They've run, it seems like about 100 of those tonight. This one to Michael Terry. And it's close to another Troy first down. They're moving the ball again here in the 4th period. After scoring only 1 touchdown in the first half, Troy scored 17 points in the 3rd quarter. And they're marching again.
Just moving the ball around, throwing different types of routes to keep the Gator defense off balance.
Enough time for Hagebrook to throw one in there, and it's caught again. Spikes again on the coverage. Another reception for Terry.
And
first downs in the game. Florida with only 5 in the second half. Troy with 12 second half first downs. From the Florida 25, Hagebrook is hit behind the line of scrimmage and stopped for a loss of a yard. That Spikes on the play.
Brandon Spikes coming right up the middle on a blitz. Hoggabook tries a quarterback draw, but Brandon not fooled. Gets down around the ankles, pulls him down for no gain. Actually a loss on the play.
Ball is at the 26-yard line. Pretty good night for Spikes tonight. Throwing off his back foot, but the receiver is open, and a touchdown for Troy. Silvoy with the second touchdown reception of the game.
This time Major Wright gets beat. Was able to throw it early and had good judgment as to where his receiver would end up at. Gave Silvoy a chance to make a play.
We are halfway through the fourth period. Florida's defense back on its heels in this second half. They have given up 31 points in the game, 24 of them in the second half against the Troy Trojans, but still lead by 21. Old buddy, teammate at Nice of Tim Tebow. And this one makes it 52-31.
And this right here is Major Wright. You know, he is a freshman. Now, whatever you do, you don't let anybody get inside of you. He bites the cheese. He's got to force that receiver outside. He bites on the outside move. Savoy slips inside of him. There's no help. When you have no help in the middle, you cannot ever allow the receiver to get inside.
Totally different football game in the second half. A much more confident Troy offensive team. Really embarrassed in the first half of the game, but they have come back strong in the second. What a great kick by Wibbs. You don't see too many from the 30-yard line go 5 yards deep, but you do here. And that next week, that's Tennessee, and the SEC campaign begins 1 week from today here in the Swamp. Tebow on a little delay, looked to throw, and then tucked it under and runs out to the 25-yard line, where he's stopped by Maurice Coleman, a junior from Eufaula, Alabama.
And really, could you have expected that Tim Tebow would be in the ball game here in the fourth quarter with 6 minutes and 40 seconds to go,
no.
And he's running the football?
No, it's 49-7 at the half. And Urban Meyer talking about how well all phases of the game this team had played with Steve Babick, praising the defense against a good, as he said, a very good offensive football team in Troy. Tebow will run again, but not far. He is rustled to the ground near the line of scrimmage by Dion Gales. Gales has made some big plays in the second half. Big number 99, 6'5", 285, the Ole Miss signee out of New Orleans.
And David, there's just got to be some communication mistakes along that offensive line, because you've got defensive linemen coming free, unblocked, each and every play.
Well, it's the same offensive line that dominated the game in the first half. So Troy has turned that situation around in the trenches in the second half of the game. Good protection. Tebow will run again. He's got the first down. He breaks a tackle at the 35. He gets a block from Harvin at the 40. And out of bounds goes Tebow at the 49-yard line.
Big play by Tim Tebow. Everybody's covered downfield. He really wants to throw this football, but he sees his protection starting to break down. Good blocking downfield. This is the kind of stuff that we saw early in the ball game, where everybody downfield was getting a block. Percy Harvin comes over, gets another block. Tim steps out of bounds, doesn't take any punishment on that particular play.
And a 25-yard carry, converting the first down to the 49-yard line. 5.5 minutes to go. Harvin looking to turn a corner. Now he'll cut back to the inside. So dangerous. Percy Harvin somehow staying on his feet, gliding to the 33-yard line of Troy.
When you talk about balance, speed, and just athleticism, you got to look at Percy Harvin as one of the best of all time here at Florida, with just a year and 2 games under his belt. Now he changes his direction, puts that hand down, pops himself back up, and he's still going north and south.
Oh, he's got some tendonitis in his Achilles. They were thinking about putting him on kick return. He's touched the ball 7 times tonight, Harvin. 3 catches, 4 carries on the ground. Hand off to Kestahn Moore, getting his 15th carry of the game. He carried 16 times last week against Western Kentucky. Tackle made by Sean Todd. And a 4-yard gain for Kestahn Moore. He's up at about 77 yards now for the game. Make that 78 officially on 15 carries. Tebow keeps again. Down he goes at the 23, Albert Mack. The cornerback comes up and makes a nice open field stop on Tim Tebow. Not the easiest thing in the world to do.
But you notice they always get down around his legs because they don't want to take him on. Tim Tebow, is a quarterback that stands 6'3", 234 pounds. And that time, Albert Mack got down around his ankles, able to knock him off his feet. If you take him on high, he's just going to run over you.
Tebow, you saw the numbers for him. He's over 70 yards for the game. Moore has 78. Harvin 56 yards on the ground. It's 3rd down and short. Tebow will run it up the middle and pick up the first down. He's getting hit a lot on this series, but he's a big, strong guy and able to pick up the first down here to the 16-yard line of the Trojans.
Coming into this ball game, you would never have made me believe that going down into the 4th quarter with 3 minutes to go in the ball game, that Tim Tebow is your exclusive ball carrier, trying to run out the clock.
One carry by Harvin on this series. Otherwise, I think it's been Tebow, hasn't it?
Yeah.
First down from the 16. He'll carry again off the fake. Tebow to the 5. He bounces in for the touchdown. Well, what a night for the sophomore quarterback, carrying it in for his 2nd touchdown run. He's thrown for 3 more. And the Gators tack on 6 more.
If they just read the paper, they won't realize how much of a contest this Trojan team gave the Gator football team, and that you needed a Tim Tebow to make a play. You got to have somebody that you could depend on when you're struggling, stand up and make a play, and Tim Tebow was the guy, and that's who they relied on. You always look to the guy that's your go-to guy. You need him to step up and make something happen, and on that drive, starting out with that 25-yard run when they were backed up, Tim Tebow made it happen. Here's another look as Tim Tebow splits him, gets into the end zone for the touchdown, but this was exclusively all Tim Tebow with a little mix in of Percy Harvin.
Got a good senior quarterback and some playmakers on offense. Give their defensive coaching staff some credit for adjustments made in the 2nd half. Almost a big play by DeJuan Harris on the return, a 30-yard return. And Ahmad Black, the freshman from Lakeland, made the tackle for the Gators.
For the Florida Gators, getting the UF secondary solidified is primary. They've got to make some adjustments. Last season, these group of guys led the SEC with 21 interceptions, an All-American and All-SEC player, a 4th-year senior. Joyner and Jackson are back, but a bunch of new guys are trying to make up for the guys who are gone. You've got Anderson, Pierre-Louis, Manson, Hayden, Monroe, Wright. That's a lot of guys trying to make up for 3 that were awfully good a year ago.
And Hagabook has had their head spinning in the 2nd half. There's another completion by the senior quarterback to Josh Allen.
And David, there's no indecision on Hagabook as to where he wants to go with the football. I mean, he knows this offense and runs it extremely well, very efficient, and where he throws the football.
And 9 different receivers have caught Hagabook passes tonight. 9 different players. First down and 10 inside Florida territory. This one broken up and intended for Andrew Davis. A nice play by Curtis.
That time the Gators had John Curtis sitting on a spy move. He's sitting right there in the middle. And as the receiver, Davis, comes across, out of the corner of his eyes, he sees Curtis and basically short-armed it.
2.5 minutes to play in the game. Almost picked off. Great anticipation. And Rickerson almost had his first career Florida Gator interception. Redshirt freshman out of St. Augustine. Well, he saw the play coming, but he couldn't quite haul it in.
Well, he's up at the top of the screen. You got a defender buzzing out, and then Rickerson reads the play, just not able to catch the football. That's the second drop potential interception today.
3rd down and 10 with 2:25 remaining in the game. Florida leading by 28 points, but they're led by 42 at the half. Hagabook had a man open, but he missed Gerald Tate. Thrown the ball behind receivers several times tonight, but he's also had a handful of them dropped, and he might be cramping up a little bit right now. He's had a very physical game.
Yeah, he's taken some punishment because, even after he releases the football, he's getting hit. As you can see, he's really struggling just to be able to move around.
This Troy team is the favorite to win another Sun Belt Conference championship. We're going to challenge from pretty good competition. Howard Snellenberger's FAU team off to a pretty good start this year, and that pass almost caught by the umpire at the 45-yard line. You got to show better hands than that.
The umpire has the toughest job there is. He's got to get out of the way of crossing routes. He's trying to get out of the way of offensive and defensive linemen.
Ooh.
And sometimes you just don't see the football because you're so busy watching that offensive line and defensive line to make sure there's no holding going on. And you get hit unexpectedly by the football.
Wrong place, wrong time that time. And the ball turns over on downs. Cameron Newton will now quarterback the Gators with 2:12 left in the football game, and Florida on top 59-31. Freshman from College Park, Georgia. Got some snaps last week to hand off to Siobhan Walker, but the lightning strikes shortened his potential activity a week ago. On that, we talked about Florida's receivers inside the game, and we've been talking about those guys all night long. They really played well in the first half. Different story in the second half, however, for the entire offense. You can't just hang it on the receivers. Defensive backs struggled mightily in the second half of this game. Joey Ehas continues to impress with his kicking.
And it was good for him to get his first field goal made tonight, which as you start to go into the SEC conference, he'll have some confidence going forward.
Good point. Before a Tennessee game next week, Ehas able to knock one through from 32 yards out. That's Walker again, the ball carrier, tackled by Boris Lee. Florida just winding down the clock. He's perfect, Ehas, in extra points. Hit 7 for 7 last week and 8 for 8 this week.
But think about that, David. You need to make a kick to get a scholarship.
Yeah.
We're coming out here kicking a field goal with 32 yards means very little after winning a scholarship.
Yeah, that was a big
when
kick.
You need to kick it through. So
when the
it
coach
shows you
challenges
he can handle the pressure.
Right. Cameron Newton keeps after faking the handoff to Siobhan Walker. And let's see where they spot the football. It's close to a first down at the 48-yard line, but it appears to be about a half a yard shy. With only 30 seconds left, it'll be 4th down, and the play clock has not started yet, so this football game is over. The Gators don't have to snap it again. Well, that's going to do it. Florida with a huge first half. Urban Meyer's club so very impressive in the first half of the game, but then Troy showing a lot of pride, and they're a good football team, as Urban Meyer pointed out to Steve Babbitt at halftime. Played a much better game in the second half. Florida perhaps coming out of the locker room a little bit complacent with a 42-point lead. Larry Blakeney with a smile on his face. And Urban Meyer now 2-0 and Gators win it again. Play of the game brought to you by Steak and Shake, famous for steak burgers.
And this is Tim Tebow. The Gators all backed up. He wants to throw the football, takes off on a scramble, goes about 25 yards, gets the Gators out of their own territory, and then takes off on a 16-yard run to put the Gators up 59-31 to seal the victory.
All right, so a big offensive game for the Gators. They score 59 points. Florida now has won 17 games in a row here in the Swamp, and Urban Meyer 15-0 here at home. Tim Tebow 18 out of 25 with 236 yards passing. Florida with a 49-point first half and coast to victory, a 28-point win against the Trojans from Troy, Alabama, out of the Sun Belt Conference. 59-31 is the final.